Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is my review for Glee Season 6, Episode 2, Homecoming, and I was actually really looking forward to this episode because of how good the first one was. Of course, the first episode was very, very good. I really love the first episode, so I was definitely looking forward to this episode, and it really did not disappoint. I honestly thought this episode was really 10 times better than the first one. It had a lot of stuff that I loved. It topped the first one. The first one was so good because of how dramatic it was, but this one really felt like Glee again. And this was probably the closest to season 1 they've ever been. And it was so, so good. I love the direction this season is going. And I can't wait to talk about this episode because I loved it. And if this is the direction this season is heading, we're in for a real treat because I even like the newbies this season, and we're going to talk about that. But let's get to this episode. So, my only complaint in this episode is the weird comic book drawings. I don't know what was up with that, but can we not do that again? Please, that was very weird. I don't know what was up with that, but whatever. Every time we come back to commercial, they have like a comic book drawing. We saw this episode with a narration from Blaine. Blaine's talking about how he's very happy to be the captain of the Warblers, how he really feels like he's at home and everything's going really good in his life. And ever since him and Kurt broke up, he's actually made some changes, and I thought these were all actually very, very funny, and things that you never thought Blaine would do. He stopped gelling his hair for one day. That didn't last very long because people did not like it, and people got freaked out, and he stopped wearing bow ties, but that didn't work out either, because he went up to Sam, and Sam didn't even recognize him, and I thought that was just really, really funny when that scene happened. Great stuff there. I really love that, but Blaine is confronted by this girl, Jane. Now, Jane is a girl who parents sued the Warblers so Jane could enter the school, and Jane wants to be a member of the Warblers. And this is a very tough decision for Blaine. I mean, a girl wants to join the Warblers. I think that's actually a very interesting storyline, and not really something they've delved into before, which I definitely really like. That's something I'm really loving about this season, is that the newbies this season are nothing like ever before, which I really love. And Jane's character is so great because of that. I really loved her character. She was a very, very good character, definitely. So Sue's talking about Sue's talking about homecoming and how homecoming is, she's talking about homecoming and how the Glee Club is starting. You see Rachel walking the halls of the Glee Club, and she ends up canceling homecoming. She ends up canceling it basically, but that doesn't last very long. She ends up canceling it. And Rachel is kind of in a little bit of a dilemma at this point. She's kind of in a little bit of a dilemma because she is at the point where her and Kurt are kind of having a little bit of a power struggle. They don't really know how to do this. Kurt's telling her that she should not post a sign-up list so early. She's not, she can't just get people in 1-2. And I like that Kurt said that to her because I do think Rachel is moving a little too fast with this whole idea of a Glee Club. I understand she wants to bring back the Glee Club, but you gotta, do it a little bit more carefully. You can't just put up a sign-up list and expect people to join. It's very different now. The school is very different. There's a lot of hatred in the school, and we really see this in this episode. But she puts up the list, and ever since then, no one's signed up and everything. They're really panicking, with music and things like that. And Rachel is definitely having a big problem with that, and I like seeing that. I thought that was very well done. But Rachel basically goes back to her house. Blaine, Kurt, Sam, and Will. Blaine, Kurt, Rachel, and Will are all having a meeting about how now that they are competing against each other, they don't want to put the other teams at risk. They're going to be nice to each other. They're going to do some friendly competition. They don't want to worry about each other. And Blaine actually asked them what he should do about the girl Jane, and they say that, maybe just try it out. They don't know really what he should do. They say it's really all up to him. He's the captain and everything. So he doesn't know really what he should do about this. And he asked the Warblers what they want to do. The Warblers are not okay with it, though, and it makes sense. I mean, I don't think they've ever had a girl there, and they're very upset about it. I love that he thought that they were all gay, and they were, and I thought that was very funny. But they all say no, they don't want her there. But Blaine is not taking no for an answer. He does not want this to happen. He doesn't want this girl Jane to be sidelined like this. He really does care about her and wants her to do this. He wants her to be in this position. He really does care about her. So basically, that's what happened there. We see Rachel and Kurt talking in the auditorium. Rachel is talking about how she really wants this to work and it really means something to her, and how she really wants these kids to get, good. She wants kids to get into arts and have arts in their school. And Kurt says how he can tell that she was worried, basically. She's very determined, everything. I like that Rachel's a lot more positive in this episode. I think she's more positive, and it's not just a random thing. She's more positive because now things are going right for her, and she's determined to do this, and it's really good to see. And Kurt, basically, Rachel made a few phone calls, and all of the alumni are back. And when I say all the alumni, Quinn, Puck, Santana, Brittany, Mercedes, Artie, they're all back. You see them all back there. Mercedes, Santana, and Brittany are back from their tour. We don't get a lot of catching up with them, but we do get some stuff that I definitely really enjoyed. There were some very funny lines, like when Sam asked Mercedes if she's lost her virginity yet. I thought that was very funny. Now, they're not just back to help out Kurt and Rachel, they're also back for the homecoming game, but it was definitely really good to see the newbies again. I mean, it was good to see the alumni again. I always love seeing them, and it really felt like Season 1 again. Definitely, it felt like Season 1. I definitely really enjoy that. So they're all happy that they are all back and everything, and Rachel basically gives them the assignment, is that they talk about how they need to recruit members and how now they have people against them. And, basically, they know who they're talking about. And basically, what ends up happening is that they send them on a mission to recruit new members for the Glee Club to get the Glee Club to run again. And, I did forget to talk about one thing that was very important. Rachel hears this voice through the, I don't know what to call, the air thing. I don't know exactly what you call it, but she hears it through the air vent, and she hears, this amazing voice, and it's this kid, Roderick, and I really like his character. He's very much like nothing they've had on the show. I don't think they've ever had a voice like his on the show. He's a very, very talented kid. He basically is basically this kid who wants to be, basically he wants to be, he kind of is an outsider. Not a lot of people talk to him. He's not really a people person. And I think that's interesting about his character, but he's really got a great gift, and they can't find him. And Rachel thinks that he's in the shower, but he's not there, and she doesn't know where he is. And I thought that was a very interesting plot. So all the alumni, they end up singing Take On Me. Awesome performance. I loved their performance. I thought it was great to watch. I definitely really, really enjoyed that. Thought that was great, and I really liked that. So basically, from then on, the rest of the episode is them trying to recruit people. Kurt talks to this guy, Spencer. Now, we saw Spencer in the last episode. We get a little bit more with his character in this episode. We see that Spencer is definitely not a very nice guy. Spencer is the kind of guy that really is... What I like about his character is that he really is showing that there are different types of gay people out there. And, I mean, the show really has only portrayed the really, Kurt and Blaine kind of gay people. He doesn't like musical theater. He thinks Glee Club is dumb. He doesn't like the idea of it. And I like that because it's interesting with his character. I don't think we've had something like that. And I like seeing that he's not okay with being in the Glee Club. And Kurt's kind of upset about this. He's pretty upset because he thinks that he's hiding something. I definitely feel he has an interest for the Glee Club. He's just not showing it right now. He definitely is not showing it right now. He doesn't want to be a part of it right now. You can just tell he doesn't want to be. And I do feel eventually he's going to be interested, but it's going to take a while for him to be interested, definitely, and we'll have to see where that goes. But I really like his character, I like his storyline, I like the storyline that they're giving him. He's a very good character, in my opinion. I definitely really like his stuff. So basically, after this, we see that Mercedes, Sam, Artie, Puck, Quinn, all of them, they are all trying to talk to these people in a class about the Glee Club and how great it was and how much it changed their lives, and basically anyone can join. You can be of any kind of minority, but these people are not good people. They're pretty much just really mean people. They're talking about Obama and things like that, all this Obama hate, which I have no problem with. I don't care about politics, but they're talking about how gay people are dumb and things like that, and obviously the alumni is outraged, says they should never join Glee Club, And it's really sad to see the environment that Sue has created and how much she has poisoned them with this information. She's poisoned them to basically think that, yeah, this is okay, that you can just hate on these people, hate on them whatever you want to. She basically told them, look, it's okay what you're doing, and it's really not. It was a very interesting thing to see, and some people could say they did take it too far. I personally think that it's actually very realistic, because what's sad is that there are a lot of people that really do think about that these days, and I mean, I don't think Glee's ever really portrayed something like that, and I definitely like seeing that. Rachel was also slushied in this episode, which I forgot to talk about. She was slushied. Sue is basically writing in her journal. She has no idea what to do now. She can't cancel homecoming, and we got her journal back. We got Sue's journal back, and we have not gotten it back in a very long time. I loved seeing Sue writing down her journal. It's always very funny. And she pretty much is hopeless, but then a thought comes to her mind, and we find out what it is a little bit later. I'll talk about that in a few minutes, but then we get one of the most interesting scenes of the episode. Basically, Blaine really wants to decide what to do with Jane, and even though the Warblers rejected her, he still wants to give her an audition. He still wants to, because he wants her to be a part of it. And basically, he actually is very supportive of it. He takes her to Rachel. Rachel teaches her this song that she can learn. She wants to do all over. I think the song is called "All Over the World" or something like that. It's like a tradition of her family doing that. But Rachel says that she should do something more contemporary, something that people will enjoy more. So she sings the song "Tightrope," and she killed it. I gotta say, the girl that plays her is awesome. I don't know what her name is. What is her name? Samantha Ware as Jane Hayward is awesome. I love her character. She's nothing like this show's ever had. You can't say she's like Santana because she's very different than that. You can't say she's like Mercedes. She's very different from that. She is actually very, very contemporary, but she's got a huge voice, and I love that about her character. The other thing I like about her character is that she's not a well-known actress. And that's something that Glee does a lot. They try to get the Warblers and Vocal Adrenaline and all those other people to have other kinds of vocalists, basically, to have big name celebrities. And this season, they're not doing that. They're sticking traditional. They're sticking with these newbies. These are the kind of newbies we needed to have on the show. They are very diverse. They're nothing like we've ever had, and that's what we need to have. Because let's just face it, Marley, Jake, Ryder, and Unique, there really wasn't anything that interesting about them. Unique, yes, there was something interesting about her character. But Marley, Jake, and Ryder were only there because they were just another pretty face you saw on TV. That's all they were. They're only there because the girls would think that Ryder and Jake were attractive. That would draw the girls in, and Marley had a good voice. That's really all that they had, was that Marley had a voice that was nothing like them. But these characters are actually very different. I think they're actually a lot better. So Santana, Brittany, and Quinn and Artie just want to go on to the football field, and Santana wants to work some of her sex appeal to get some other members to recruit, and they sing the song Problem, which was awesome to watch, of course, and basically what ends up happening is that they end up meeting with Kitty. Kitty is still there, which I was surprised about, to see that Kitty's still there. But Kitty, I can understand why Kitty's upset. Someone could be I can understand if someone is upset that Kitty is like pissed at them. But honestly, in the real run, think of what they said to Kitty. They always told her to shut up. They always told her to, they didn't care what she had to say. They were never nice to her. So I understand why Kitty is genuinely upset about what they said to her. It makes perfect sense to me. It really does. I loved seeing Kitty have this remorse. It's not just like she's bitchy because she's bitchy. She's very bitter of what they did to her. I mean, Artie abandoned her. Artie really became a very kind of like bad guy, and I gotta say, he really became a bad guy in the second half of the season. Last season, he really did. He broke up with Kitty. He had that whole STD thing going on. So he really has a lot of stuff going on in his life, and I honestly feel really bad for Kitty. And at this point, she doesn't want to join Glee Club, but I definitely feel that Rachel will somehow convince her. I love that she said that Rachel didn't even know her name, and she didn't care about her, because really, they didn't care about her. Kitty was kind of sidelined, and I like that they're showing that, because she really was. She didn't have too much to do last season at all. Like, her purpose last season was that she was with Artie. That was it. That's all that happened, is that Kitty was with Artie, and they were together. That was literally her purpose on the show. and it's really dumb that that's her purpose on the show, but I like that they actually address that because it's really important. But also what happens here is that she says that no one's gonna join, but then there are these two twins, Mason and Madison, and I love their characters. They call them the incest twins because Mason, believe it or not, is not gay. He's actually a straight man who they're really only on the cheerleading squad because they want to join the Glee Club. That's really what they want to do. They're so interested in it, they want to join immediately, and they get them. So that works out. So they're talking about how it's not exactly working out. The recruiting has gone horrible for them, and it's not going as well as they have wanted it to. Blaine also tells Jane that they rejected her, that he could not get it to work for her, that it's not going to work out. And Jane's really upset about it, obviously, but he tells her that he's going to fight for her. He's going to make sure that this works out for her because he wants her star presence there. He doesn't want just one, he's going to fight the council, and he's going to tell them that he will quit as the captain of the Warblers if she doesn't get to join. And I really love that about Blaine. I thought that was really, really good, and I definitely really like seeing that. So then Rachel and all of them, they hear the voice again, and they want to find where Roderick is. They don't know where he is. They want to find where he could be, and Roderick basically, they eventually find him. And they basically tell him that he needs to audition. They need to hear him now. He's amazing. He says he's not really sure, but he's actually not very confident that he should be on the Glee Club. That's what I like about these newbies, that some of them aren't even that confident. Some of them don't even want to join, but they're joining because they don't realize it. And it really goes back to the original set of the original set of the alumni. I mean, think about it. But there really aren't anyone to compare them to because there's no one like them. I mean, some people could compare Roderick to Artie, but he's nothing like Artie. He really isn't. He has this unique voice, and they tell him to join, and he ends up trying out for them, and they absolutely love him. They think he's fantastic. He's amazing, and his song Mustang Sally was awesome, I gotta say. I loved his song because of his voice. It's so diverse, and I don't think we've ever had a voice like that on the show, and I love that they did that. It's such a different kind of voice, but I love it. I think it's great. He really is doing a great job on the show, and he was absolutely fantastic. I loved his voice. Roderick was amazing. He was so good on this episode. By far, one of the best parts of the episode was his audition. So then we get probably the most surprising part of the episode, which is a very surprising twist. If I hadn't read the spoilers, that is, because I'm never going on to Glee Wiki again because they spoiled the entire episode except for a few things. But basically what happens is Blaine, Rachel convinced Jane to join the Glee Club, and Blaine obviously is outraged. I can understand why Rachel did it. She didn't think Jane would have a chance, and she was very determined. I do understand that. I don't think it was a selfish thing for Rachel to do. Yeah, she probably should have confronted Blaine about it, and Blaine kind of thinks of it as a betrayal. He's infuriated at, Rachel and Kurt. He's infuriated at what they've done. He's not at all happy with him. He's pretty pissed off, actually. Sorry, I just hit something. He's pretty pissed off at what they've done, definitely. He's not at all okay with what they've done. He's really pissed at them, and he tells them that basically the whole thing of them playing nice is over. That whole thing is over, and I love seeing this kind of like angsty, evil side of Blaine. Awesome to see, and they're now screwed, so they got a lot of problems, definitely. Sue has brought back Becky to for the homecoming. It was cool to see Becky again. I forgot to talk about that. She brought back Becky, and she said the rules for the homecoming. It was funny to see. My only complaint with that is that Sue really didn't have anything to do with sabotaging the Glee Club. That didn't really have anything to do with it. Sue did whatever she could though to try to sabotage them. So they now have their group: Mason, Madison, Jane, and Roderick. That's the group right now, and I think it's a pretty good group. I think they're a diverse group, and you definitely see signs of Spencer joining. I like the way they end the episode with home. It was a good way to end the episode because you see them trying to recruit more people. You see them hearing Spencer's voice. He definitely seems like he wants to join, but like he's not into it. He stares at the list and he literally looks away. Like I think it definitely is going to take some convincing. I do see Kitty joining. I do think there's a possibility of her joining, but it's going to take a while. Definitely. She has a lot to be upset about, and that's one of the things I like about this season, that you really sympathize with everyone this season. No one is like, oh, I don't sympathize with them. I don't like them at all. No, I sympathize sympathize with Kitty. I understand why she's upset. That's why I always like Kitty's character, because there's so many layers of Kitty's character. She's actually a very nice girl. The only reason she's being a bitch right now is not because she's a bitch. She's not being a bitch, actually. She's genuinely upset about what they did to her. That's why she's so upset, is because they treated her like shit, and she didn't get anything. She didn't get a solo. Marley got everything. She got nothing. And obviously, she's really upset about that. So it definitely makes sense why Kitty is pissed, and I actually really like seeing that. Now, I know some people are complaining that they don't think that the alumni is going to stick around all season. I don't think they're going to stick around all season, but I don't think this is going to be the last time we see them. I know they're coming back next week, and I know that there's going to be, I definitely hope that they stick around after that, because I love seeing the alumni back on the show. And basically, the episode ends with them singing Home at the homecoming and everything. And we see Mason and Madison audition with them singing Home. It was really cool to see. And overall, I love this episode. Thought it was fantastic. Will was not really into the episode a lot, but it was fine. Next week is going to be awesome. And I'm honestly really pumped for this season. I really love the direction they're going in. The season really seems to be more of a character-driven season. As I said in my review of the first episode, this is the most focused I think they've been in a very long time. Honestly, this is the best Glee has put out since seasons 1 through 3. It really is. Season 4 was very much all over the place. They didn't continue storylines. They let things go. It didn't work. Season 5, the best part of that was New York. All the other stuff just was not good. It did not work in Season 5. Season 6, what's good about it is that it has 13 episodes, so they can't do anything filler, they can't do anything stupid, and I think it's working really, really well. Yes, the stuff with Sue is kind of stupid, what she's doing, but even Sue, it doesn't bother me, really. Nothing is bothering me this season. And I definitely really enjoy that, and I love the direction that they're heading in. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. And kind of what I think is going to happen now is I know that Kurt and Rachel, they're going to have a bit of a power struggle. It definitely seems like they're going in different directions. You know, Kurt seems like he wants to be the more, like... Kurt, honestly, kind of seems like more... Rachel definitely seems more like the fun one, while Kurt seems like he's like the one that's very much down to business. You know, like he's down to business, he knows what he's talking about, and it definitely seems like there's gonna be a power struggle with them, so that's gonna be interesting to see. I know that next week Santana is gonna propose to Brittany, which is gonna be really fun to watch. I can't wait to see that. Blaine, definitely there's gonna be a lot of conflict with Blaine now. I know Kurt's obviously very upset that Blaine and Karofsky are dating, and we didn't get a lot of that in this episode, which I like that this episode didn't really focus on couples, because that's not the point of Glee. The point of Glee is, the Glee Club. That's the point of Glee, is how much the Glee Club has impacted them. That's really what this episode showed, is how much the Glee Club has impacted the alumni, and I definitely really like seeing that. And again, it feels like a final season. It doesn't feel like just a random season. No, it really does feel like a final season, and I gotta give applause to everyone. They know what they're doing, and they know what direction they're heading in, and it's really refreshing to see. Again, I was very worried about the season, and I gotta say, I have no worries now. No worries whatsoever. I'm so into it. I love it. And it just can't get any better. It can't get any better, and I can't wait to see what the next episode is going to be. But that's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, briefly want to talk about the newbies. What I love about them. First of all, there's nothing like we've seen of them in the show. We haven't seen anyone like Mason, where he's a guy who... They're not even there to be cheerleaders. They're there literally to audition for the Glee Club and to be at that karaoke night thing for cheerleaders. I mean, it's really funny to watch, and I like seeing that. I also like that they don't seem to be calling them Cheerios anymore. They seem to be calling them cheerleaders, which I think is interesting. But basically, what they seem like they really want to join, and they're very interested in, and they're really into it, and I definitely want to see what they have to bring to the table. I like their characters. They're very funny, too. I mean, they said in their cast interview, I watched their cast interview thing on the Glee on Fox channel on YouTube, that they're a little weird. They're definitely not your typical cheerleaders at all. They're definitely more into the whole singing aspect of it. Jane's character I really like as well, but what I like is that they're not focusing a ton on them. It's not going to be just newbie focused. No, it's all about how the coaches, you know, or the captains, or the lead, or the directors are impacting them, and I definitely like seeing that. Not a lot of Will in this episode, but I kind of feel like Blaine's going to convince Will to not go easy on them either, because he thinks that Kurt and Rachel turned against them, which is going to be very interesting to see, and I actually really like where this is going. and I think it's really good stuff. It's very mature writing this season. It's very dark writing. I definitely really enjoyed it. This episode was more fun than the first one, but I still really enjoyed it a lot. Love this episode. That's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoy it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for tonight's episode of Girl Meets World. So I will see you guys for that. Okay. And let me know what you guys think this season overall. I can understand some people aren't liking it, but I really love the direction they're heading in. I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay. Bye.